Yo, what is up, guys, and welcome to year Xehanort number 4. Although we're not going to be exclusively talking about Xehanort himself today, we're going to be throwing in the Sora and the Master of Masters because we're going to be going into how Sora and Xehanort are, in fact, the Master himself. Yes, this theory is going to be talking about how Sora and Xehanort are the mysterious eluded character from the Kingdom Hearts fairy tale era, the Master of Masters. So let's jump back to the back cover trailers. Remember how the foretellers were represented as emblems with not their faces, but rather the animals they associated with? Well, obviously this was to hide their actual faces from us, but that's all irrelevant because we're going to be looking at the obvious relatable design and nature of the heart represented and the design of the Tome of Prophecies. On these two things, we see a sigil that looks reminiscent to the X-Blade. This proves that there is an undeniable connection between these two items. Well, with the sixth apprentice missing, it could be argued this heart belonged to the sixth, right? Well, no. This is the Master of Masters' heart. Let's look at more into the Tome of Prophecies for our proof. The Tome of Prophecy, which shares the same sigil as the heart in the trailer, originally belonged to the Master of Masters, although it was later broken and split between his apprentices. We've been blessed to see it in its proper form when we download Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key, and once again, the heart appears. Surely this couldn't possibly be a coincidence. So for now, until stated otherwise, I think the idea of this heart belongs to another character is only 5% possible. But let's look at the sigil more closely. We can see two wings that look to be connected to the X-Blade, with one wing being angelic to represent the light and the other being demonic to represent the darkness. This is where Sora and Xehanort fall into place in my theory. Now let's talk about the relatable nature of Sora and Xehanort's hearts. I know you may think they don't have a connection or any type of relatable things that goes on with these two hearts, but they actually share two abilities that expose their connection right in our face, yet no one has deduced what I will reveal to you guys in a bit. So first let's talk about Sora's heart. His heart shares a huge amount of similarities to the heart in the trailer, but more than that, his heart time and again has been said to possess a secret power that allows Sora to welcome others into its warmth, heal them, and reproduce them. Heck, in the most intense case, it's been implied he can literally bring others back to life. But on the other side, or on the flip side, Xehanort's in intense cases have been implied to infect and destroy other people's hearts, and he's pretty much able to whore his heart around, being able to switch things up and possess other characters. He even is implied to be able to snuff out the heart of whoever he assumes control over. Do you see the connection? Their hearts are almost complete opposites, but they both possess abilities that no one else has been stated or has been hinted to possess. Well, what if that's because Sora and Xehanort are the Master of Masters' split heart? We can even go further and talk about how his heart got separated, using Xehanort's tale of the X-Blade and how it shattered to 13 pieces of darkness and 7 pieces of light. We know darkness corrupts hearts and is more dominant than the light in most characters, and in my numerous theories, or in all of my theories, or most of my theories, and findings are in any indication, and the Master of Masters possessed the X-Blade, then it would all fall in line. The Master of Masters was a being of high regard, that much is clear. If he possessed the X-Blade and gave the foretellers their Keyblades and later in life gave each of them a piece of his Tome of Prophecies, what if their access to this tome was because the Master of Masters shared his heart, and that's why the full tome also possesses the sigil? This would even back up the rebirth theory, giving reasons as to why the foretellers were reborn as our two trios, or most of our two trios, and why Sora is missing from the foretellers. This theory only leaves the sixth apprentice absent, and with KH3's E3 2015 trailer confirming that Xehanort's master was in possession of the key he/she may have possessed, we can highly speculate that he was their master or was connected to the sixth, not the current consensus that the sixth apprentice was actually an evil guy. So as you get to see in this theory here, what I'm speculating is, of course, just to break it down for all of you guys, is that the Master of Masters was the character who was in possession of the X-Blade. This possession of the X-Blade eventually came to create this sigil on his heart, or pretty much since they want to hide his face and stuff like that from us, which is the same reason why they hide the foretellers. So there's no reason to even argue that. Of course, that's why his heart doesn't look almost exactly like Sora's or Ventus's heart. But it's because of the fact that they're trying to hide the Master of Masters from us that, of course, they will put the X Blade with these two different wings that definitely are supposed to be displaying exactly what his heart is split like, or what his heart would look like. We can see that, of course, the Master of Masters is pretty much a character that was both light and darkness, probably even pure light and pure darkness. Maybe he was two beings put together and came together as one. And that would make a lot of sense, seeing as we've also seen this happen with Ventus and Vanitas. When Ventus struck down Vanitas, pretty much his heart was severed too, and his heart was split, and his heart was also broken down. If you remember, Vanitas even made it perfectly clear what happened to his heart. His heart vanished forever, but instead of completely vanishing, his heart found someone else. Now let's go ahead and go back into Kingdom Hearts 1. Remember how in Kingdom Hearts 1, Sora kept on walking into, of course, that realm where his heart was. I never read up on where that realm was, but it was kind of like, the realm of the heart and stuff like that where he was. Remember how the voice was telling him he'll be the one to open the door to light? What if this is also why he's connected to that door, or why he's going to be the one to open that door to light? Because that still hasn't happened yet. Regardless of what you may think, inside of Kingdom Hearts 1, they found the door. That isn't what it was talking about. It wasn't talking about, of course, Ansem opening the door, and pretty much Sora was there too, and he was like, oh, Kingdom Hearts is light, and then light started to shine through the door. That wasn't what the voice was actually telling Sora. What it was telling Sora is that it's his destiny to be the one to open the door to light. And although Sora isn't completely connected to the Keyblade's truth, we have to think about what the Keyblade's truth really is. The Keyblade's truth is supposed to be, of course, the truth behind how the Keyblade came to be, what the Keyblade is about, its existence, its purpose, and pretty much protecting the light and stuff like that. Although Sora isn't completely connected to that, we can argue why he isn't, and that's because the Keyblade's truth actually derives from the teachings and the things that the foretellers actually did in their time, not anything connected to the Master of Masters. So pretty much, when Sora is, of course, fighting Xehanort, we may actually see these two characters potentially slip up and melt and merge together. If you remember, the whole point of Dream Drop Distance was actually for Xehanort to capture Sora, and when he tried to capture Sora in the end, or when he was about to share his heart with Sora, in the end, we saw our boy Lee pretty much swoop in and save Sora. What if this is because, of course, it was alluding to these two characters having the same connection that I just told you guys about? And I definitely feel like this connection, while it is probably a reach, because of course we don't have any real information on the Master of Masters or how he died, so I can definitely respect if you think it's a little bit of a reach of the imagination. But these two characters definitely are the only two characters that have these special abilities. Xehanort and his ability to share his heart with other people. Of course, Sora and his ability to welcome other people into his hearts. Those are pretty much two relatable abilities that definitely seem like they share some type of connection in their hearts in some way, form, or fashion. Now, the only thing that I could definitely say would help, I guess, any argument against this is how Xehanort and Sora wasn't born at the same time. And of course, if you don't accept the rebirth theory, then pretty much you don't have to accept the rebirth theory either for my theory to still work, because I'm not necessarily saying that these two are the rebirth of the Master of Masters, but rather the Master of Masters either in some way, form, or fashion found his way into Sora and Xehanort, or maybe the dark part of his heart found its way into Xehanort and the light part into Sora. So let me know what you guys think about this theory, man. It took me a while to actually come up with all of this. I remember when the idea first popped into my head, it actually derived from, I think, when we get to see the Tome of Prophecies inside of Kingdom Hearts Unchained X. And when I first started to see the demonic wing and an angelic wing, I really had to look into it more, because I was like, okay, we know that a being of pure light and pure darkness could definitely create the X-Blade if they clash together and one body is destroyed, but before that body is completely disintegrated or gone, if that person merges with the person of light, or the opposite way around, or vice versa, pretty much the Keyblade will come into existence again. And the whole purpose of the Keyblade is for them to reach Kingdom Hearts. Now, as we know, the Tome of Prophecies does belong to the Master of Masters. He was the person who created the Tome of Prophecies. And since he was the original possessor of the Tome of Prophecies, that would mean that this sigil definitely has to be his sigil. And if this sigil is also on the heart that we get to see in the back cover trailer, then obviously this would be the Master of Masters' heart. Plus, Tetsuya Nomura has already confirmed to us that the Master of Masters, in some way, form, or fashion, he hasn't said outright he will be in. He has said that, of course, he will place some type of influence, pretty much, inside of Kingdom Hearts back cover. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Did you enjoy the theory? If you did, hit that like button, and of course, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you're confused about anything or want to share your thoughts on any of this theory, hit the comment section below. I really hope that you guys get involved with this theory, and let me know what you guys think about it. Am I reaching a little too far, or are you guys with me, or do you guys believe that it's definitely some percentage believable, even if it's somewhere around 25% believable and 75% not possible and stuff like that, or 75%, you know, it's kind of reaching, and then you think like 25% reasonable? Let me know. Give me your percentages, all of that stuff, guys. This has been your boy Mazia. Don't forget to do a little A-class gaming. Stay tuned for more Kingdom Hearts content, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace the heck out.